Okay, here is another script for you guys. I think, personally, in my opinion, um, the script is way cooler or like way more functionally useful than the icon theme one. Um, so basically, what I did was I work with React a lot, and I I know I think there is a Visual Studio Code extension for this, where if you create a JS file, you can set like a template. I don't have one. I don't know what the options are, but I assume there probably is. Um, but I thought to maybe make a script that is a little bit more dynamic and one that, you guys can adjust further to, go as you need. So one thing I wanted was I was thinking if I can choose a particular directory. So in this case, it is this components directory. Okay, that's where I put all my React components. Um, and I know some people like they will obviously like again, this is a personal project, so please, excuse the messiness. But I know it maybe in more organized um, code bases, they'll have a components and the hooks and different directories for different things. Um, and yeah, so but in this case, I just have my components folder. So I was thinking if I could do a script that'll populate like kind of like boilerplate or like base code whenever I am creating a new component, right? Instead of me typing out, import React, creating the function or class component and exporting. So it'll automatically do that. And then while I was doing it, I was like, why not also? The way I usually do it is I will have a CSS, a separate CSS like folder somewhere where I put my CSS. Um, and I was thinking like, okay, I'll also adjust it so that it will import CSS if there is an existing um, CSS file with the same name. And usually, I think naming convention wise, usually CSS files that are corresponding to the component or to the JS file should have the same name. But that's just a naming convention thing. Um, and before I show you guys, how to do this, like what I did and stuff, keep in mind that like yes, you can copy over what I have and use it and stuff, and hopefully it helps. It's great and all. But honestly, when I do these videos, half of it is that you know uh, to help you with like functional things, um, and hopefully this helps. But the other half, as to why I do these videos, is really honestly just like inspiration. Um, and this is why I use this approach over an extension because one, I actually don't always use Visual Studio Code. I I was taught Vim a long time ago, and I just sometimes I still use it. Um, but my friends laugh at me, so sometimes I'll use Visual Studio Code. Um, okay, so yeah, like basically it's inspiration in a sense that your Linux install, the way I view it is this Linux install is mine, um, and your Linux install is yours. You know, and that's what I felt like was nicer as opposed to Windows. Is we really make our installs ours through our customizations, through our features, and as these videos will show, through scripts that we use to help us. Whether they are for aesthetic reasons or they are actual functionality purpose. Um, but yeah, so you can use this totally for yourself to help you, but also when you use it, think of maybe is there a different way? Is there something I can add? To make this even more useful for myself. Um, I mean a very simple thing is I'm gonna use function. I'm gonna use my script is gonna create functional components. But you can maybe I use class components. Maybe I want um, some way to determine you know if I want to auto populate a class component or a functional component. Um, or maybe there's some other things I'm going to import other than just CSS. Whatever this is meant to help you, and this is meant to inspire you to, try a little bit more. So yeah, let's go about and let's see this. So I put it in the same directory as that other video. All right. And by the way, I'm actually enjoying the random icon themes. I love variation, so I like that it changes every time. I might actually add some more. I only had like 3 or 4 random themes to pick from, so I might add some more. I think there were some pretty cool ones I saw before. But anyways, okay. So again, you don't need sudo permissions or anything. Let's see. So here is the script itself, and let me make this a little bigger. Yeah, here's the script itself, and basically we're going to follow a similar format as the other video about the random icon themes. Whereas we're going to create the script, and we're going to create a service file for it, and we're going to enable this as a service so that essentially this will automatically trigger when you boot up your machine. That way, because if you don't, when you boot up your machine without running the script or anything, and you go to create your file, nothing will happen. You'll have your normal blank file, right? But basically, the script has to be running for this tool to listen on that directory that you specify. So yeah, that's why we're adding this to run as a script to run on boot up. Okay, so let's dissect this a little bit just to tell you what you might need to change and what you might want to look into. So the directory that we are watching is where I create my components. So that's the directory where I'm saying, okay, whenever I create a .js file in this directory, I want it to have this template. Okay, so wherever that directory is for you, make sure that's pointing to it, right? Here, I know I actually didn't, my CSS file was in the same directory, but I know most people might have a separate CSS directory. So if you do, you can add that as a variable like I did, and just make sure it's pointing to that correct directory wherever you house your CSS files. Okay. This variable is the template itself. So it's just importing React. I have a functional component, and I'm exporting it. Again, you can customize this as much as you want. That's the nice thing about this. And this will work for any IDE, any editor, anytime you create a JS file. So that's the nice thing. It goes beyond just Visual Studio Code. Oh, and we'll install this tool. I'll show you how. This tool is what is actually watching this directory. All right, and we have a couple of conditionals. I think there's nothing you really need to change though for this to be functional, but basically we are checking if the file we created ends with .js. Okay, and we're going to use the same file name that we use. We're going to make that into the component name. And I'll show you that in action in a bit. This is our conditional for checking if there is a existing corresponding CSS file with the same name. And if we do, we're editing the template to import that. Yeah, so I think the only things you need to change would be any necessary directories, the template however you like it. I mean, if this is good for you, you can keep it like that. Yeah, I think that's all. Okay. I don't think there's anything else you would need to change off the top. Yeah, this part should be pretty functional, just depending on what you input here. Oh, okay. Sorry. I said I didn't know how to use Vim. Okay. So we have the script. Now we need the service file. So I uploaded it on GitHub, but the place that you put it is, I'm going to go back to home. .config, I think. System user. Yeah. I think that's, yeah. Okay. So you're going to want to create a service file. I named it react-component. You can name it whatever you want. And that is going to look like the service file we created in the other video. Very similar. Just change the description to whatever you like, point it to the correct directory, and that's all you need to change there. Again, you don't need any sudo permissions. You don't need to make this using sudo. Okay, let me see if I missed anything. Okay, yeah. So go ahead and run this command. This will install, I'll put it in the description as well. This will install that tool I was telling you that helps us to monitor a particular directory. And we already set up the script. That was this one, react component.sh. We already set this up. Make the script executable. Right, yes, I did not show you that. Just like the other video. Mine already is, I already did it. But you're gonna want to do chmod. I'll put it in the description as well, +x, and then react component.sh. Again, like I think most distros, when you do that, this will change color. My distro is showing as green. That means it's executable. Okay, and to make the script run as startup, yes, like I said, we're gonna make this run as startup, and we did that here. Oh, and to enable and to start this as a service, since we created a new one, we need to do, oops. We need to do, I'm going to take the commands just from the previous, yeah. So you're going to take this command, run this one to reload, and to enable and start, just change this to the actual name of the service, okay? And again, to check the status of it, if you want to make sure everything's looking good, no errors, you can run this command. Again, I'll put these all in the description. But make sure you do these, right? And then when you reboot, everything should be good. You can test it out. Let's do, did I already, I don't know. Okay, let me close all these. These are my personal stuff. Stop, you should be looking. Okay. Testing.js. So there's not an existing testing.css in that directory. So, oops. Oh well. Well, there's something I need to fix. Okay, it is fixed now. I will push the latest code to show, but let's test it again. Hopefully this time. Okay. Again, this is without a existing CSS file. Okay, that looks like there's an external line, but all right, so let's test it now if there is. By the way, my actual like job is like QA and like automation, so oops. As you can see, I pushed code to production without testing it. Right, testing.css. Did I spell that right? Yeah. Okay, let's try this again. Testing.js. Here we go. All right. So I think now it's all good to go. I'll push that latest code to that repo. Actually, let me do that. Yeah. Otherwise, I think that is everything. Yeah, I think that is, again, aside from the changes, the only thing really you need to consider is updating these values. And if you, again, obviously, you know, feel free to change any of the functionality, and by all means, you know, please do so. Again, cater this to whatever your needs are. Maybe you don't work with React, maybe you want this for something else entirely. But yeah, so we went over, I think, everything. So I think we are good. And look, my icon's changed again. All right. So we did, and yeah, remember that last step to make it sure it's running. It's a service running on startup. Okay, I think that's everything. Uh, Thanks for watching. Let me know if you have any questions or anything.